For 2 months I watched these skies, waiting for the monster ship to return. I blew it the first time, let it leave for Earth without me, while I came back for Izzy. Damn, it was a stupid move. Now I can barely remember my own name, but I kill anything and everything that comes my way. I'm the king of the goddamn hill. Sooner or later, the aliens are gonna come and try and knock me off. When they do, I'll make them take me home. Take me back to Earth. Their ships come by overhead. I kill what they drop, and they drop something new each time. They're training me, keeping me sharp. Almost wasn't sharp enough for this thing. The armor I scavenged was too cumbersome. Ditched it in favor of a more streamlined approach. Feel lightheaded. I know I'm going down the same road that Navy SEAL went. Noland. Another drop. Could be a longer haul than I thought. I'll need help if I'm going to survive. Hey guys, what is up? Niat here with Film Comics Explained, and I am back with a special one-shot that was released to serve as a follow-up story to Nimrod Antel's 2010 Predators, starring Adrian Brody, Alice Braga, and Lawrence Fishburne. Predators: Preserve the Game was published by Dark Horse Comics in 2010 to serve as a sequel to the feature film. Written by David Lapham and illustrated by Allan Jefferson. I liked the movie Predators, and appreciated it as a homage to the original film, with a new setting and some new ideas thrown in there. The basic premise for Predators was that a group of elite warriors had been abducted from different parts of the world and brought to a game preserve to serve as prey for the predators. As the story progressed, they began to realize they were on another planet altogether. This was a really neat concept, and I have to admit there were some incredible characters that showed what they were capable of, especially the badass Hanzo, the Yakuza enforcer that dueled with the Falconer and slayed it before also falling. And there's Royce, the protagonist of the film, that goes one-on-one with the Berserker Predator and takes it down with the assistance of Isabelle. And of course, Noland, who had survived many years on the preservation and witnessed a continuous drop of predators and prey each hunting season. As the title suggests, they are all dangerous predators, as they have all preyed on others, which is what attracted the Yachua to them in the first place. One of the best things about this movie is that Royce teams up with a predator that is imprisoned by its kin, freeing it in return for access to their ship, reminiscent to the relationship that Galgo and Ahab had in the Fire and Stone story arc. Although they were up against 3 predators, I didn't feel any of the danger or fear that was prevalent in the original film, or any of the humor for that matter. Preserve the Game picks up a few months after the events of the film, with Royce and Isabelle, who were the last 2 survivors. They have both been living on the preservation, waiting for another ship to land. Royce approaches Isabelle and tells her that he can see her shoulder was doing alright, and she explains it's at about 80%. Royce does not look very good, having fought so many of the creatures up close without armor, which has left him with huge gashes across his body. He collapses and asks her to save him. After a few days, Royce wakes up and Izzy explains that she hadn't seen him in weeks, only for him to come back and almost die at her door. She explains that his infection is gone and she had essentially done her part, allowing him to be free. Royce tells her that she was right about him becoming like an animal and more like Noland with each day, as he has been more reclusive with a desire to want to hunt and be alone. They both embrace as he tells her that they are both essentially all that each of them have out here. If I ever let myself feel guilty one day, I'll add this to the bottom of the list. I can't say it isn't nice though. It's real nice. I could let myself get lost in it. We see a predator suddenly appear in front of them. It then drops a huge bag before disappearing. It's at this point that Royce tells us that he worked alone and was fine until he tried to change the game and care for others, insisting that he was about to die because of it. Royce and Izzy stand back to back and look for another sign of the hunter, but there is nothing. He tells her to stay alert as it may be trying to give them a head start, but Izzy looks at the bag and tells Royce that she didn't think it was here to fight, and had actually left them a present instead. They open the bag to reveal armor. Izzy says, "I think it's your size." "Mine?" "Yeah, see how it's all small and scrawny? I mean compared to them, of course." They see the ship ahead drop something in the distance, and Royce looks up and says, "I have a bad feeling about this." We spot that it's a huge unique predator that has 4 arms. Now, they're both unsure about what is going on. Izzy asks Royce if he saw the size of the predator from earlier before it went invisible. Royce doesn't answer her question, and instead asks her if she remembered the ravine he had showed her a while back, before suggesting she wait in the waterfall while he led the predator to her. He begins to put the armor on as she says, "I know the spot. but that's too risky, and there's no way out from there. What if I miss, or the bullet doesn't do the trick? Royce then hands her the laser cannon and tells her that she's a pro that won't miss a shot, but she's uncomfortable about using a new weapon in these circumstances for the first time. I mean, sure, she may be proficient with a sniper rifle, but that doesn't equate to her being dead shot with a laser cannon too. Unfortunately for them, they are then attacked by the giant predator who swings at Izzy. She tries to fire but has no idea how to use the laser cannon. The predator then turns around to meet Royce, who is now almost completely clothed in armor. The hunter strikes him and lashes at his face. Royce grabs Izzy's arm as they jump off the cliff. He also tells us that the right thing to have done would have been for him to leave Izzy and run. Now, this is the selfish, survivalist part of Royce that he's always in conflict with. I mean, he is a predator after all. In the film, although the group followed and looked up to him, he constantly put them at risk so that he may gain an advantage over the predators by watching how they functioned. The armor is amazing. Last I checked, dropping 1,000 feet off a cliff ended in goo. My knees buckle, but don't break. Impact is diffused. The predator also lands behind them, the impact of which sends them both flying through the air. The suit is also increasing his speed as we see him dashing through the forest with Izzy in his arms. They jump into a river and hide in the roots of a tree. Izzy tells him that she can't see it, and Royce explains that it didn't mean it wasn't there, as he begins to put on the helmet that was made for him. What we then see is that the helmet is giving him a complete analysis of his environment, which is so cool. I mean, this is the first time we're getting this kind of look at their technology. Royce mentions that he had put on one of their helmets in the past, but couldn't read or understand the displays, while everything here seems to be in English. This is essentially showing us how advanced their civilization is, having mastered not only interstellar flight, but also been responsible for developing technologies that are capable of deciphering and displaying alien languages. Just need to relax. This can help us if I can control it, if I live long enough to control it. Izzy pulls Royce down, effectively saving his life from the swing as the tree cracks in half above them. They both jump out of the water, and Royce charges up his cannon and shoots at the invisible hunter. He then fires a barrage of laser shots before grabbing Izzy and running. The fire will throw it off and buy us some time. They arrive at the waterfall and rewire the laser to allow it to work for Izzy. She stands watch from the vantage point as Royce waits for the hunter below. The hunter begins to sneak up on him. While the two are fighting, we get an insight into the mind of Royce and how he perceives this will end. He basically tells us that for the first time in his life, his instincts are telling him that he is about to die. He explains that the helmet is helping him to anticipate the attacks, and tells us that if he can hang on, he may be able to hit it, make it bleed, and then kill it. He stabs the hunter in the leg, causing it to scream and strike him back with fury. He hits a pile of rocks and explains that he's just cracked his ribs and can feel fire shooting up his side. What we then find out is that Royce is intentionally not allowing Izzy to have a clear shot of the creature, as he wants to take it down on his own. He makes a mistake and the predator grabs him and is about to impale him, but Royce is saved by a shot from Izzy, who has now given away her position. The predator turns around and begins to run at her. We see it put on its camouflage as it climbs the tree beside her. Knowing that Izzy is unable to see the predator, Royce fires an explosive tipped bullet at the hunter to give away its position. Izzy then spots him and fires multiple shots from her gun and laser, finally taking the giant predator down. They look up at an approaching vessel that drops 2 more crates off. What we now see is that Royce has relinquished his selfish desire to look out for only himself, as he says, "I don't know how long it will take or how many we'll have to kill, but one thing I'm sure of is that together we'll get home, or die on this rock as a team." Now, although I enjoyed the story, I felt that other than Royce's new hunting equipment, he and Isabelle are practically in the same position as they were at the end of the movie, with Royce abandoning his selfish side and teaming up with Izzy. So it doesn't feel like much has really progressed. It sort of feels like David didn't have much creative freedom writing this, as a possibility of a film sequel was still in the air during the film's release in 2010. Either way, this is an entertaining continuation of the film, and I hope we get another sequel in comic book form from Dark Horse Comics. Well, that's all that I have time for. If you'd like to purchase a copy of the comic, I've left links below. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this story, and the film Predators in general, so please share those in the comments. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
Over here. to. This way.
Wait. Who are you?
I'm the one that got away.